Yeah. And I was thinking while you were talking about that, like one of my favorite, like basic counselor stuff with Carl Rogers, like that unconditional positive regard, like the flavor of unconditional positive regard that you get through this lens feels more true to unconditional positive regard as opposed to unconditional positive regard that you might have thinking about and working with personality disorders. Because it almost feels like the stigma around personality disorders is like, I'm going to love you in spite of. Whereas with this, it's like, I'm going to love you because your brain is different and that's cool. And we need different brains, which is just so much more healing.
Well, and in my observation in here, there's so much genius in these populations. And I talk about this. I know when people are struggling with something, it's hard for them to see anything good in what they struggle with. But it is so common in here that I'm like, oh, that's genius. That's genius. And they're
Mhm.
like, well, I have all this shame about it. And I'm like, okay, I'll try to keep this to myself. But that is genius, the way your brain works and piece picks apart information, the way you come to solutions. Yeah, it's more of an acceptance of who you naturally are.
Mhm.
And it's not, I want to be clear, it's not allowance. Like if someone, okay, hyperactive, myself, right? Hyperactive. Say my issue would be, for instance, because of my ADHD, I get angry and I fly off the handle and scream at people. As a therapist, I would never be like, yes, go ahead and keep doing that because you have ADHD. I would still be like, you have ADHD. So your impulse control is probably not
Mhm.
100%, and that's okay. But we need to account for that. And like, let's make some buffers for it so we can address that issue. I think as therapists, we're either like in total, we get black and white, total allowance, or that's how they think, and no
Mhm.
change, or we're pushing them towards change. But sometimes it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Um, I hope that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense to me.